could, with your permission, ask a couple of questions first. Can you hear me with this?
Yeah.
Okay, has the sale of the property gone through, or is it under contract for sale?
Yeah, so the question was, has the sale of the property gone through? And the answer is yes. The church has bought this property.
So under a contract for sale, some people will sell the property subject to the approval by the county. So 9 years ago, before a change in county code, we would have found out about this project after the fact. I changed the county code, so we have a required pre-submission hearing. The county hasn't seen any of these drawings, and they could be subject to change based on your input. I want you to know that.
But the church is going to be built.
No. Hold on, they have to meet all the requirements. If it's septic, what else anybody have a septic system? What has to be done before you can put it out? Perk! You got a perk.
It hasn't been done yet.
Tell me,
It's scheduled.
Mr. Barrett, is this a historical barn on the property? This will be determined not by our good friends, the vendors, the hired help. This will be determined by our county historians and archaeologists. After this meeting, which is a required public meeting, they will have 6 months to submit their drawings and plans. If they don't get it done within 6 months, they have to come back. So we may be back at this place. Tell me, has your plans included the requirements of the Anne Arundel County Fire Department in terms of road access and travel around the building?
Yes, my name is Deacon, and really appreciate you coming for your question. To answer the question of the scenario, yes, we run what we call a vehicle simulation test using a fire truck. It's a long range machine, and a fire truck can get inside of the property, go around, and come back with any difficulty. Meaning, any type of a vehicle can get in and out. The travel lane, yes, even the parking lot. The travel lane is 24. The aisle is determined for 24, meaning the car can park, back out, and go, and 2 cars can go. The entrance, we're providing more than 36 feet entrance. And in the back, we're providing the same thing, which is 36. And in the middle of the driveway, the entrance, we're providing island to ease the right in and right out.
So remember, the county fire department will review everything they submit so that it will be verified by the people who are hired, that we've hired to protect us. Hold on, you can answer the question. Just let me get one more thing out of here. And the traffic officers, gee, what a great idea. I go to Seton Parish. Anybody here go to Seton Parish?
Yes.
We all know that on occasion we have a sheriff out front doing a nice job. But it doesn't always happen.
St. Mary's
Share
does.
with us, Mr. Parrott, how
St.
we can be
Mary's and
guaranteed
Bowie does.
that, how can we be guaranteed that this facility will have the officers that you have indicated?
One option that we would have would be to put it on the site plan to make it an actually official requirement. And that's something that the church is amiable towards doing. So it could be an official requirement that's part of the site plan, part of the approval process.
Now, we have the, hold on, let me ask you in a second. We have the pastor here, and I want to ask this in a very gentle way, because I've been a parishioner at Seton for, how long did we start meeting at the elementary school? 38 years. This is not a question of whether or not we like his church, or we like him or his parishioners. The question is traffic and safety.
Right.
And for your good use, I would like a quick survey, how many people here in this room think it's appropriate to build this church? Raise your hand. Okay. Reverend, good luck. We don't have community support, and I just want to make sure we say it in a gentle way. There's plenty of places on Route 3. There's plenty of places on more appropriate places, but he already put his money down. And he has property rights. So our job as legislators and as regulators is to make sure they do it in a safe and legal manner, and we will hold any development to the highest standard. So I just want to give you that assurance, and I want to thank you very much for your patience.
Yeah, I'm going to open up to questions, and the next one I'm going to go to is another elected official. We're going to start with elected officials. There's several in the room. We're going to go to Delegate Michael Malone next.
I think I can hopefully ask this question and everyone can hear me. When I first looked at this plan, my first concern was, where will most of the traffic be going? If you're leaving an event at the church, are you going to be turning right or are you going to be turning left? My concern is, if you're turning left, how will, I don't see how that works. If you have 300 people or 300 cars and 200 of them are leaving and turning left, 30 seconds each person, that's 100 minutes. That's 2 hours of traffic that's not moving as it's going left. And I did not hear that addressed.
That was a good question, Delegate Malone. Thank you. And the question is, again, I'm repeating for folks outside because they didn't hear the whole question. When people coming out of the church, how are they going? Mostly left, mostly right? There is a split. It's probably about 70-30. 70% will go left, about 30% will be right. There is going to be a right turn lane that's installed so that folks can slide right out there without having to wait for left turns. And really the solution is the traffic control officers that are going to be there. Now, when you look at the level of service, it is an A on Sunday mornings as we look at Maryland 450 Defense Highway. So I go to a church right now that's larger than this church is planned, much larger actually, and it only has one access out. It's a level of service A intersection, and they don't have a police officer at that intersection. So it does back up onto the church property at that location. So the solution really is the police officer would help them be able to make those left turns.
What if that police officer doesn't work? What if that plan doesn't work?
Well, and then again, if the police officer is not there for whatever reason,
Or it doesn't work. You're talking about Sunday. My church has activities on Monday and activities on Tuesday and a big service on Wednesday. Sometimes activities on Thursday. What the hell are the people supposed to do who live on Cox Road who don't want to wait an hour and a half to get out of their home?
well, the issue is what level of service is the road, and what does the
It's right
state?
now the level of service where people can get out of their homes and go to the grocery store or the doctor if they need to. That's the
Well,
level
hold
of
on.
service right now.
The question is that the state highway asks and the county asks. I really like what the senator had to say. Whether we think it's an appropriate use or not, it is an allowable use. And when people leave that church, we use national standards, not gut feeling standards. And the national standards in the state of Maryland, we use the critical lane volume. It shows us a level of service A. It can handle those traffic. If there's a little bit of backup on Cox Road, that's fine. We'll be able to get out of there safely.
Oh my God.
That's fine.
He's being paid. He's biased. This is just this is just a required meeting.
Absolutely. Oh, he's totally biased.
Right.
You know, I appreciate the comment on Cox Road.
I live on Cox Road.
Thank you.
Oh, good.
Okay, I live on Cox Road. So I drive in and out of there every day, many times a day. I've lived there for 25 and a half years. My kids catch the school bus at the end of Cox Road.
Yeah.
It's a very, very dangerous intersection.
Yes, right.
Several times we've had vehicles, they can't stand on the corner because, can you put up the four-way intersection, please?
Yeah.
And that pointer you have, can I borrow the pointer for a second? Whoever had the pointer.
No, that's not it.
No, go forward to the color.
Hey, sir. Hey, sir. Hey, handsome. Hey, hey, sir.
That will work. That will work. Okay. The
Hey,
star
young
on the
man.
left is Cox Road, Tarrytown, 450. It's a four-way intersection. There's only two of them on the street. The other one has a traffic light. It's right down the street.
Right.
When we leave there now, we have to wait in the morning traffic, okay? Sometimes 5 and 10 minutes to get out. Our kids are waiting at the bus stop. They have to look left and right because many times people try to go around to the left or around to the right. It's a two-way road with oncoming traffic, but they go to the right or go to the left. Plus, we have lots of accidents on Terrytown.
Yes.
The telephone pole right there is struck at least once a year and cut in half. Right now, it's makeshift put together, it's splintered together. They don't even replace it, they just keep patching it up. Now, I'm gonna finish talking. Secondly, they leave the highway and they come through the fence of the residential yard on the left. That's happened twice. With the kids at the bus stop. That intersection is terrible. If you add anything else to it, it's a very, very dangerous situation. It really is. I don't care what you have to come down at 7:30, 8 o'clock any morning of the week and wait and try to get out of there.
So let me repeat the question. There are folks outside. You probably heard them clapping earlier. So the question really is a resident who lives off of Cox Road or on Cox Road, and in the morning it's hard to get out. There's a bus stop there, and you also mentioned that there are crashes.
Not just in the morning; it's all times of the day. Really.
Yeah.
You also mentioned there are crashes that happen there. One thing that we can do is I can look at the crash statistics and see what's happening there, which I will do. Another part of that is that the church is proposing to improve Cox Road dramatically from what's there right now. Right now, again, you can't leave and come in at the same time.
It's just gonna make it wider, so
when we add the second lane,
the bus is down here.
I guess it depends who the drivers are. The driver who I was talking about the other day wanted to turn in. He let me out because it was too narrow. But it's there you go.
I want to bring up the
So let me go. First of all, elected official first. Delegate Malone, does that answer your question? Do you want any other questions?
well, I'm not sure it answers my question. A response to my
But addressed your question. Very good.
Can I
Now, I
talk
know
about-
Councilman Jerry Walker's here. Can I hear from you?
Yeah, one of the things you mentioned was that the road is an A rating on Sunday mornings. But one of the things I don't know if you all considered was the impact of the Renaissance Festival. I mean, you've got the traffic backs sometimes all the way up to Route 3, and that's at least 3 months out of the year. So while it might be an A 12 months of the year on average, those 3 months that a Renaissance Festival is in play, it's a huge impact on that road.
Yeah, then it's enough.
Thank you, Councilman. And I think that's a great point. When we did our traffic study, it was early spring type time frame, February, March. What we will do though, and I heard your concern loud and clear, the Renaissance Festival does start. It's in late August, September, October. We're going to do another count, and I'm going to take a look at the level of service on the road on a Sunday morning and see what it looks like when the Renaissance is in service. And also, there's the interim county fair. I'm going to try and find a weekend when they're both going and make sure we get a traffic count at that time and see what the level of service is. Well, okay, the question is, when do we choose to do the traffic count?
You sit down.
And basically, it's what's required by the State Highway Administration and on the county. This use is obviously going to be heavy on a Sunday morning, and so it's important to do a Sunday morning traffic count. And then also, there will be traffic contributed by the church in the evenings. We're using that national standard, the ITE manual. We know that it's going to be about 20 trips contributed on an average evening, so we also did an evening count. And the morning is completely negligible. So that, let me go back to the council. Do you have any other questions? Or? That's a very good point. We're going to address that. Now,
By putting the counter on
elected
Cox
official in the
Road
room?
doesn't help you.
Or if you want to hold yours and tell people. Okay, great.
Please try to use microphones so that when we hear who's asking, I know that it's easier outside.
So one of the questions that we got today about this project has to do with the capacity of the septic. The health department has certain thresholds and limitations based on the size and capacity of the acreage. Could you define if there's a maximum of 950 people that you could service at any one time with 300 parking spots? if we presume that the place is filled, how do you propose to achieve the capacity? Can you go over some of the basics?
Absolutely. They're going to pass that to the civil engineer, Mr. Conti.
Yes, thank you. It's a good question. At this time, using another county guideline for on-site sewer, it's a 3 gallon per minute. If you take the capacity less than 900, which is 897, we end up being way less than, which is the maximum 5,000, which require the Maryland Health Department to jump in. So keep it in mind that the service is going to be on Sunday, and the peak is going to be on Sunday. So we are way below even the capacity, the maximum capacity. So your question, yes, it's going to be adequate.
So is the church closed during the week?
But also, we're going to submit, I've been working and I already talked to another county health department as far as they already sent me a list of approved contractor and geophysician to do the full test. But so far, what we have when we get the geotechnical report, it's the rate is almost 1.12, which is higher even as far as for stormwater management and for fertilization. Meaning this site is very adequate to meet the capacity and the requirement for the church. Thank you.
Is the building being built to a LEED standard?
Again, we have an expert in traffic, we have an expert in civil engineering. I'm the project manager. I haven't said much. One thing I do want to say is you're asking excellent questions, and I hope that I hope what you're realizing is that we really, actually, we care about the traffic safety, getting people in and out as well. You know, this is going to be a church that people, you know, they want to be a positive part of the community. And so I just want to acknowledge some of the great questions that have been asked. And I also, the other thing I wanted to say is very simply, some of the questions about septic, some of the questions, this is early in the design process. We're right now at a stage where we have enough information to come and start getting the feedback. And we actually are also at a point that we don't have so much information and so much devoted to any specific design right now that we can't actually hear good ideas. Okay, so you know, one of the things we heard about that probably wasn't really incorporated in the design was the concept of using the improving and making safer the bus stop. Okay, that would have come up along the way, but that's the kind of stuff that you tell us what's going on, you tell us what we can do to help. And quite honestly, if it's possible and it's the church really does want to try to do what they can to fit into the community nicely. So that's all I want to say.
I have a question.
And right quick, just to follow up to the question of Madam Executive, if you look at this slide right here, I'm showing the existing condition. If you look at this area, it's really nice and slow. All this land will run flowing from defense going all the way down to this. And if I go to the next slide, this is where we are going to put the on-site, which is by gravity. We don't even need a pump station, we don't need it. Everything's gonna go by gravity, and we're gonna follow the contour line, and we're gonna have enough reserve. Not only we're gonna meet the capacity, but we have enough reserve for the on-site, just to meet the county requirement and to make sure the community is gonna be happy.
Answer the question from here.
Go ahead and sit down. And again, go ahead. It's early in the process. We haven't perk tested this yet, and so we say it's going to be this. This is what's designed now.
I have a question about fire and safety. I have the microphone, please. You know Cox Road does not have any fire hydrants or any street lights. And if you take Cox Road and go around to the back of your building, say there was a secondhand fire or something like that, where are you going to get your water from? You could keep going down and turn around all the way to the top right corner of your thing. We had a 24/60 garage burn down. They brought 6 pumper trucks in. How are you going to manage that? Where are you going to get your water from? We couldn't do that on our own well, you know.
Okay, so we're not involved, quite honestly, up the road.
No, I'm worried about
But let me say this. We're not planning to extend public water or sewer with our plans now. So just to be clear, but that has nothing to do with, what I can commit to is that the access in and out for a fire truck is going to be dramatically better.
You're not going to get answer the man's question.
Does that mean that there will be a fire hydrant added anywhere near the building?
Answer the man's
We're trying to
question.
help make sure it goes orderly now. And so I have a question from outside that was just brought to me, and then I have.
But you didn't answer this one.
Yeah, well, that's this one. Question. You're going to get your water to there. If we can't get it to our house, where are you going to get it to there? How are you putting out the fire?
How far away is the nearest fire hydrant? How's that?
Okay, let me, I didn't answer your question, and the reason is, it's not this development's job, no offense, but if this project stopped, which I'm sure some of you would be happy, if we went nowhere, what happens in a fire next week? The same situation. Oh, the church.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
The thing we're here to talk about.
There you go. That's an excellent question. We have our architect here. I'm sorry. I think I was going to fire up the road. Sorry.
Money well spent.
Our architect is here. He'd have to answer that question, but I'm not sure. Do we have our plumbing plans that far advanced at this point?
Right now, we're working on the plumbing and mechanical.
We can't hear you.
We're still working on the plumbing and the mechanical system of the building, but the building, with the size of the building, the code required that the building has to be sprinkled. So we're going to provide sprinkler for the building.
Yeah, you need water pressure from the well to do that.
Okay, again, these are building design issues that will come up along the way, and we're not going to be able to build the building if we don't meet the fire code. So, but again, I'm trying to make you understand, we haven't designed all the details, and there are some major questions left to be answered. So, assuming, because again, we switched very recently from the idea of trying to extend public sewer and water, that decision, you know, these are some key decisions that we're still in the process of making. We wanted to come to the community and start talking to you as soon as we can, but you have to understand that there's still some questions that we don't know.
Let the folks ask questions.
And I guess as far as order goes, I have one question from outside, which I'm going to ask first and go. And then people who signed in, we're going to start going right through the list. And then once this list is done, then we'll pass it around to other folks. So here's the question from outside, and I'll probably give this to the Sillers here. The building plan includes 11 classrooms. What is their intention? Is there a proposed school for the church? And then if there's a school, shouldn't there be traffic counts done during the week and Sunday? So.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That's a very good question. We do not plan to have any school on site other than children's church during services. So there will be no school outside of church services.
You don't plan on it now.
I don't think you planned on a lot of
Thank you. And the first question is from Paul Odell. Is Paul here? Paul, great. Here, I'll pass you the microphone. You can stay right there.
I'm a little hard of hearing, so I didn't hear you when you said my name. So. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm in ministry. I have 2 minutes.
Come on, ask the question.
I'll make it real quick and short. My wife is unable to be here simply because she's an invalid. She would be the one that would like to talk. And she can talk, I'm telling you. Now, how many women in here talk more than their husbands? Raise your hand. Not many. All right, what's the question? Quick is the answer. I are part owner of the property on Cox Road there, right on the corner. And one of the problems we got is we're in love with the property. We love it. Jesus said that the love of money is the root of all evil. But maybe we're loving something we shouldn't love. I don't know. But we love that property, and we're going to keep it until the day we die.
How long you been there, sir?
Let me finish. So, well, don't answer, don't say anything about what is taking my time up. Anyway.